Yeah, so there's something that I wanted to talk about. You know, my lunch with Scott the other day, what he came really wanting to know more about was like family planning stuff. And we haven't had enough conversation where I had like a really good feel on it.
That's like for you to inquire. Like if you're unsure about me, then like that's on you. I can't read minds.
Yeah, well, that's why we're bringing it up.
Well, I know, but you didn't really bring it up. You brought it up that he brought it up.
Okay, so then we'll just complete it. Like, do you want kids?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why I like froze my eggs. If I didn't want kids, I wouldn't have froze them.
And is it something that excites you, that like you're looking forward to?
Yeah, it's something that excites me, but scares me at the same time. It kind of like irks my chain because we've already talked about it. The idea of having birth freaks me out, but it's not, I'm not being excited about kids. I know I'm getting irritated and I'm not trying to get irritated, but it's like, if you really know me, then you know how much I want to be a parent. I'm a little bit annoyed. Like, we have a lot of sex. Most of that's unprotected. But like, yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed.
I don't want you to feel pressured into anything. You know, like I don't know, I feel like these are big conversations.
But they're big conversations that you're not having with me, you're having with your friends. I feel blindsided that you've been feeling this way and haven't said anything to me.
Why did you feel blindsided?
You have an opinion about how I feel. If I didn't want to have kids, I would fucking tell you. I'm getting heated because this is really pissing me off.
Let me talk now. When you get this defensive about it, that's one of the reasons why I get concerned. Knowing that this is so important to me, like me bringing it up and wanting to talk about it.
Because you didn't bring it up. You brought up your friend. Why not just say how you feel?
I'll tell you, because you get like this. Honestly, this is why. That is 100% the reason. It's hard for me to bring things up when
that's bullshit.
You have scared me into trying to figure out ways to bring up things where it doesn't become this. I mean, it doesn't have to feel like an attack. This is something that's important to me, so we're gonna talk about it more than one time.
This is not a game to me.
I'm not trying to play games.
It feels like you are.
I understand where partly Meghan is coming from, where she said, you didn't bring it up because your friend kind of brought it up. I kind of understand where she was coming from at that aspect. Like, don't be afraid to come to me if you have any kind of questions or where my head is at. I understand that. But she always feels like she's being blindsided. That part I don't understand. Because if he came out with a question about anything, I'm feeling blindsided. That's the theme that I got every time they had a conversation where she got upset or didn't like anything. And when he was like, I'm scared to come and bring anything to you or say anything, I wouldn't have admitted that. I would have said, I get concerned because if I bring up something, you're going to react this way. I would have phrased it a little bit differently. If you know she wouldn't have kids, because she did mention that she wouldn't have kids, the other part that he didn't say in this clip, but he wants 3 kids. Granted, right now, at the time of filming of this episode that they were doing, they were 38. She's not going to have 3 kids at this stage in her life. So if he wants 3 kids, he needs to be with someone much younger, early, mid-30s, maybe. And if you're going to just pop them out back to back to back. But part of his stuff is unrealistic, even though he didn't say it in that clip. But the part that kind of raised my antenna was that they were having unprotected sex. Granted, I know they're married, but 2, they haven't known each other that long. And I always like bring this up with my wife, right? I'm like, maybe it's just me. I don't know if it's just I'm naive in this aspect, but if you are not married and you're not trying to have a child, why are you having unprotected sex? pull-out method does not work 100% of the time. As they said, it is honest trader below. The pull-out method, 100% of the time, it worked 50% of the time, right? But I don't understand that part. I felt, I know people were having sex in their teenage years, right? And I don't understand, like, do everyone have unprotected sex? And if so, why? Are we not thinking about diseases, getting someone pregnant? I just don't understand it, and someone please explain it to me if that is the case. I don't know if no one's having post-nut clarity, clarity. Is like, what is going on in that aspect? Mafuchi, if you can explain to me, please do, because I just don't understand it.
All right, somebody. So I got a little bit of PTSD watching this, because this is the similar, not completely mirror image, but similar dynamic that my wife and I have, okay? In the sense that if I say something and maybe my wife doesn't hear it the way I meant it to be, again, what does Jay tout? Effective communication. Then my wife can tend to have this reaction as Meghan did, all right? Now Meghan was focused on the fact that Derrek did not bring this up. The friend brought it up to Derrek about the kid situation, okay? Being very specific, come on, that's a little petty, wouldn't you say? I think even Jay could point that it's a little petty, right? All right, let's leave it there. But nonetheless, what's going on with Meghan and Derrek? Meghan is feeling like she's not being heard, and Derrek is just continually talking about what's going on. Meghan is not feeling comfortable about this, right? I understand this because I've gone through this with my wife plenty of times, okay? Is like, after a while, you kind of start to realize, for me, I was feeling a little bit for Derrek, like, okay, how should I phrase things? I think even Jay said that, like, you may want to phrase things differently, because I am not a person of conflict, okay? I want to say what I mean, but I also understand that the one thing you can never control is somebody else's feelings. So you try your best to be able to phrase it, to get your point across, and not hurt the other person's feelings, or make them feel like you're just coming at them. So that's a dynamic that married couples have to figure out. And prior to this, I know this is married at first sight, so they're already married. Now they have to figure it out on the go. That's really tough. That's almost like an arranged marriage type of deal. I get it. And that's what my wife and I had. We, with the kid situation, I'm a truck driver, so I think by the 3rd month in, my wife and I took a long trip together. I brought her in the truck, and we just talked about everything that we wanted in our lives and together, and one of them was kids. So we realized that she more so wanted the kids, and me being with her and having the feelings that I did, at first I didn't want kids, but being with my wife, I was more open to the idea. And if that was going to happen, definitely at least one child, because we're both only children, my wife and I, so we could raise one, right? And I think after a while, it became like, well, we were only children. We kind of knew that was kind of lonely sometimes, so maybe be open to a sibling, and that's what happened. But we did talk about this. It seems that Meghan and Derrek have not really honed in on talking about this. And if I'm understanding correctly, Meghan was just getting very annoyed about the fact that Derrek couldn't get it through his head that she wants kids. She froze her eggs. That's how serious it is. But again, I think Jay mentioned they're in their late 30s. Look, biologically, as you get older, you can have more complications trying to give birth. I'm saying this to the ladies, okay? I am fully sympathetic or empathetic, whichever one it is, to you. All right? At that point, you may need a surrogate. But she already has her eggs frozen, so that's an option. But these are things you just got to get out of the way right away. I don't care what show you're on, Married at First Sight. Okay. As soon as you meet, you want kids. When? Oh, now? Okay, well, let's keep talking about this and see if we both want them now, or do we want to get to know each other. All this has to be hashed out. But also, again, everything is at jump. They're married, now they figure it out. Number one thing, figure out how to communicate with each other. Because also Derrek said, hey, if I notice that if I say something right, I have to really watch my words so you are not annoyed. That's not the best way to approach a marriage. My wife and I have worked on that, okay? So it has toned down on her end, and I'm able to choose my words better so we can communicate better. So, but that took a long time. But we both loved each other, and we knew it was worth it to figure out a compromise to talk to each other and talk about all the important things. So if everything's gonna jump to, really hash everything out. And I know Jay asked the question in general, why do people get involved with sex and unprotected sex? Me, I can only speak for the men. I'm sure there are times that men have an opportunity to lay down with a woman they probably didn't think was going to happen, so they didn't have a condom with him or protection, but they did not want to miss out on the opportunity. So, hey, you got to do the method that works 50% of the time, right? The pull-out method. Do the best you can. That's how I see that unprotected sex happens, because it's surprised. We're surprised, like, oh, she wants to? Okay, well, I guess we're just going to pump and pray. So that's the answer I have.
Let's say that's true, right? I know there's multiple reasons why it happens, but I think I'm more thinking about it at the aspect of, okay, what about catching something, right? Because someone can say they're clean all they want to, but you don't know what else they're doing with, who else they're doing it with, right? And then two, let's just say the person gets pregnant. Now, on both ends, is that a person you want to have a child with? That's my question, because I know this one woman, she said something to me a long time ago. She was like, if you sleep with someone, would you want them having your child? I thought about that. I was like, it's a good question, because I'm like, I know there's a lot of people who have kids with someone who do they not want kids by. So that's just always rung in my head. I just feel like I think about it differently. But usually the woman's in control of that situation. So I would think at least she will have something on hand if she know it's going to go down. That's just my thought process.
Well, once again, yes, the ladies are also involved in this. There are some women that want to get knocked up. And by the way, we did review and react to the knocked up scene where Seth Rogen got Katherine Heigl pregnant. So go ahead and check that out. We'll leave that in the comment section. But yeah, that is another form that happens. So it's not always us. Again, Jay brought up all these diseases. As far as I know, all diseases except syphilis, because syphilis is forever. I think that's the one. All the other ones could be treated. So we're really not thinking about anything else but having sex, because we know how great it feels. We don't have a Jimmy hat on. Oh well, we're still going to do it. Pump and pray. Whatever happens, you leave it to God, is what people say. I know Jay is about the Lord, so you leave it in the Lord's hands and see what happens. You roll the dice, and hopefully you don't get snake eyes. I think that means you get her pregnant. Whatever term you want to use. But with diseases, we're not thinking about that. We're just thinking about hitting that. That's us guys, all right? And some ladies.
God don't want you doing it unless you're married anyway. Okay, so there you go.
Hey, somebodies, let us know in the comment section, what kind of diseases have you received or acquired while having sex?